Hello, welcome to Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable, where I discuss the future of this region blessed with hydrocarbon resources. Every week, we give some time to reflecting on topics relevant to the development of the Niger Delta and her people. This episode is the same. I'm here once again, and we're focusing on how to take this region to a more promising future. And the podcast is sponsored by the operator of the NNPC, Renaissance Total Energies Active Joint Venture, Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited, headquartered in Port Harcourt. Thank you for joining. I'm Adedayo Ilushakin. A topic for this episode is Local Voices, Global Goals. Now, today, we join the world in marking International Youth Day. But here in the Niger Delta, this day carries a deeper resonance. It's a reminder that the future isn't waiting, it's already speaking, building, and leading through the voices of our youth. This year's theme, Local Youth Actions for the SDGs and Beyond, invites us to look closer at the young people transforming their communities, not with grand gestures, but with grounded action. From climate advocacy to entrepreneurship, from education to digital innovation, they are turning global goals into local realities. In this episode, we listen to one of those voices. We explore how youth in the Niger Delta are not just responding to challenges, they are reimagining what's possible. And in doing so, they are reminding us that sustainable development begins not in boardrooms, but in backyards, classrooms, and community halls. This is their story. This is their canvas. Once again, today, our topic on Canvas is Local Voices, Global Goals. And my guest is Austin Ogunleye. Austin Ogunleye is Program Officer at Partners for Peace in the Niger Delta, where he leads strategic initiatives to promote sustainable peace across the region. He is a development and peace-building practitioner with over 8 years of hands-on experience in community development, conflict transformation, and social cohesion. Austin Ogunleye, hi. Welcome to Canvas and Niger Delta Roundtable.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Happy International Youth Day to you.
Which you sitting?
Great. I'll start by asking you a question I asked you behind the scenes before we started recording. What's it like working in the development space?
For me, it's interesting. It's remarkable because every time I reflect on my work as a development practitioner, it gives me a lot of joy because in the development sector, your aim and objective is to touch life, is to make a change, a positive change at that, so that lives are transformed through your work. You give yourself into whatever you are doing to ensure that people are able to move from one stage to the other stage, to transform from their present situation to another situation, to give people hope, to give people alternative, to give people sense of accountability to themselves and to the society, to work together for the common good, not for themselves alone, but for the common good of their society.
Talking about, it giving you joy, and you also described how that it's about bringing positive change. So I could interpret those to be some kind of reward or satisfaction you get from doing this. But is it really as rewarding for you? Speaking of the joy you derive from it and the change that you're able to effect, considering, for all intents and purposes, Nigeria, or the Niger Delta for that matter, is not described as a developed society. So what I'm saying in essence is the development or positive change that you work for may not be coming at the level and at the pace at which you desire it, or at the pace at which you're even working towards it or working for it. So is it truly as rewarding as it could be?
Thank you. If you look at our case in the Niger Delta with so much issues that we have environmental issues, political issues, instability, and the rest like that. And you look at where we are coming from. 25 years ago, 20 years ago, if you look at the issues that we had, we don't have those issues again. And the issue of militancy, piracy, though they might still be there, but they are not in the front line in the newspaper because we have moved, transit from that. So there are progresses. And in time of development does not happen, or a change does not happen in just a period. It's over the time. And it's through continuous sustainable effort that change happens. But in those time, you can see some hanging fruit that you can pluck. Oh, we used to have this 20 years ago, we don't have this again. We used to have this 5 years ago, we don't have this. However, as human beings live, there are still going to be emerging issues daily that will be coming or that will be surfacing. So my work, or the work of the people that are in this sector, is to be looking at those emerging issues, bring out real life issues to resolve those emerging issues, and we forge ahead. So there are joy, there are success stories, there are change that we can talk about despite the challenges which we are facing.
Now, I presume that you're of Southwestern origin. Am I right?
Yes.
Does that pose any challenge for you, being of Southwestern origin, doing development work in the Niger Delta?
Actually, I'm from Ondo State, and Ondo State is part of the Niger Delta. So
okay, let me rephrase that. Doing development work in the South-South region.
Okay, in the South-South region, yes, it was a little bit challenging because of the when I came in about 3 years ago to understand this. Although background, I've been working with the people, but coming to see some of those challenges in realities, it was in a new dynamics. And but one thing about development sector is that you find a way to adapt easily because of the trend of things that are happening in where you are working from before, and you look at the environment where you are now, and you try to juxtapose the two, then you move on from there. So, and it is not all about me. There are people, there are teams, and in development work, it's about teamwork. You learn from this person, you learn from this person, and you try to bring your own expertise and forge a way to bring a strategy that is workable and can be achievable.
What does International Youth Day mean to you personally, and how crucial or important is it, especially in the context of the Niger Delta?
And for me, the International Youth Day is just not a date on the calendar or just one of those international days. It's a date for me to celebrate the power, skills of young people. And personally, it's a day for me to reflect on the work I do with the young people in times of peace building, in times of development, and also on to take account of myself. That's why being youthful, and am I also useful? Or am I youthful and wasteful? So it's a moment of reflection.
I feel like I need to write that down. Youthful and useful.
Yes.
Or am I youthful and wasteful?
Wasteful, yes.
Right, go ahead.
So, and it's also helped me to also understand those things and see where I'm not doing too well, and to try to change, or where I'm doing well and to put more effort so that I can have a better impact in the life of young people, the fellow young people, and probably in my society. Then we come to the Niger Delta. Like I said before, we have our issues that have been there over the years, which we are making progress from. And you know that one of the things that the youth in Niger Delta, it is the negative that usually come to the fore in discussions, in our national data, in reporting, and just because people want something that is catchy, that caught the attention of the people. But the International Youth Day gives opportunity to shed light to those young people who are making positive impact in the Niger Delta, who are contributing to development in their local communities, who are, despite the reduced space, they are still making impact in their community for a change.
When you hear the expression local youth actions for the SDGs, What comes to mind?
What really comes to my mind is the global goals and the small action that without the small actions in our various groups, in our various community, we cannot achieve the global goals. The global goals is there big because each of the goal, if you want to look at each of the goal, you can write texts of different on each of the goal. They are very vast. Those 17 goals, or let me say 16 goals now, they are very vast. But one thing we need, that comes to my mind is what actions are the local communities doing to contribute to each of these goals? What actions are you taking? For example, in your community, are you involved in climate resilience actions? Are you doing climate smart agriculture? Are you working with people across your community? And when I mean community, I'm not only talking about the houses or this. I'm talking about the young people community where you work and those things. How are you working together to ensure that you contribute to this thing? How are you supporting people with the little resources that you have to end hunger? How are you working with, how are you volunteering to help, even though you don't have the resources? Because that's one of the things that is very lacking in this world. We think that volunteering is something like a waste of time, but it's not a waste of time. If you don't have the resources, you have that energy to volunteer to do some things in the community or for the people who might not have that energy in that you have to do all those things. So for me, the local voices is for people in the community. How are they bringing out their voices to people? Is it peaceful or are they doing it violently? Are you contributing to discussions? Are you contributing to decision making? Are you making yourself available for service?
I perceive that for a lot of persons, and maybe young persons inclusive as well, in the Niger Delta and by extension Nigeria, perceive these SDGs to be just this grandiose theory, this grandiose text that sometimes comes with very nice looking graphics as well, that depicts some ambitious, end or goal that's unattainable. It sounds nice, maybe even exciting when we gather in rooms to talk about it, but that's where it ends.
Yeah.
And it's not something that's actually attainable. Are the SDGs attainable? And also, are you aware of, because the SDGs won't just happen. Work has to be done to realize them. Are you aware of any local efforts or initiatives, maybe some you've been a part of, especially in the Niger Delta, or that you are simply aware of, that's contributed to achieving one or more of the SDGs?
Okay, let me start by saying, talking about this SDG goal. Like you said, it's a goal. And in the development sector, when you have a goal, you have objective, you have activities. Those activities are things that people do to contribute to that objective, but those activities might be in different ways. And you and I are doing something now. What we are doing now, we are contributing to discussions, and which is, if you one of the SDG, you can tie that to one of the SDG. So it is about everybody. It is attainable. But the thing is that it is small actions that you do, I do, they do, that bring us to these things. And like we said, the SDG will not be achieved by only putting on infographics and this thing. It is small, and that is why people who understand those things can come to the communities and break it down in a language that the people understand. And in terms of what we have done, for example, last year, I observed a trend of a clash between the police and the young people in Delta State environment, and which come to the loss of some police officers and young people. So I discussed with our partner in Delta State to say, okay, can you draft a intervention around this to see how the police, so because the perception of the people, like you say, the police, the perception of the people about a policeman, what's the perception of the policeman about the citizen? So those kind of discussions. So we organize this, and very interestingly, we discovered that these people, they don't even understand each other, understand what a policeman is or what he did, or what a citizen, or how did they perceive them. So this discussion was interesting. And we're able to move from saying that, oh, when you see a policeman, it is not your enemy. This person is here to protect you. And you easily volunteer yourself to do whatever he asks you to do. And the policeman understand that when you put out this attitude, the people or the young people, because of the energy that we have, we want to react. So it is a call on them to also say that, okay, let's reflect on our mode of operandi, how we engage the people, how we engage young people especially, to understand that whatever we are doing is for their own safety. So a lot of work is being done by different people, both by government, by non-governmental organization, by corporate organization, to achieve these goals. Because these goals is not just set for being on the board or being on the infograph, it's for the people to help us in this. And in the Niger Delta, we are doing a lot. Young people are doing a lot to contribute to this, and people are turning waste to wealth. And even if they don't get the required support, or those things are not pronounced enough, but we know that these things are being done, and it is for a long time to be continuous. If we are doing one thing, let us be ensure that we encourage it and ensure that these things are continuous. Because if you continue hitting a nail in one spot, surely it will drive in and you achieve your aim.
Talking about young persons in the Niger Delta doing quite a lot, engaged in different activities to drive home the point, to help in achieving the sustainable goals. What challenges do young people face in the Niger Delta with these efforts aimed at actualizing these SDG goals?
One of the major challenges is the issue of exclusion. In decision making or policy formation, the young people are left out. And you cannot, in my tribe in Yoruba, you say you cannot bob my head when I'm not there. It's not possible. I have to be present. The young people have to be on the board to decide how to solve the problems of now. Because the way an elder thinks is different from the way a young man thinks. So even if we are looking at the same issue, so the young people needs to be brought to the board, to the sitting table, to make the decision. And from the planning to the implementation to the evaluation, the young people have to be part of it if we want to help them. Because these are the major challenges, and not see them as the foot soldiers to just go and do this and do that without them being involved. Because when they don't even have the understanding of what the aim and objective of that project, of that intervention, of that activity it is difficult for them to even carry out well. But if they are part of it, they can put in their own suggestion. They can tell you the new ways of doing things now, which is probably will be better. And in our society, African society, we say, oh, the elders, whatever the elders says is the final. Yes, it is true. It's good. But the elders need to also understand that young people needs to become part of this. Because if you are there and you are not providing this mentorship for them to be able to be part of the process, so that they can take the leadership mantle today and tomorrow, it will be difficult. So these are the challenges that the young people face. And also the peer group challenge that we have also in Niger Delta is the challenge of make money quick syndrome that is really ravaging the Niger Delta. This is an emerging issue that is really making it difficult for a young man who have an idea that want to pursue. But idea takes time, and which is what it is. Because what takes time is it beats your resilience. But these people just come in within 2 years, you see them, they have make it, they are driving Benz, they are driving this. So those put pressure on their peers. And before you know, the person that is following a good right, a virtue, becomes following picking up vices because they want to meet up with with his peer. So this kind of peer pressure is rising in the Niger Delta, and it is time for us to look at this challenge and try to help the young people to be able to navigate this new challenge.
So even if we had the young people in the room to give them a haircut or barb their hair, as you said, do they really know? Do they really know of a better way? Do they really know? Do they really care? Because I mean, from a certain standpoint, do they care about these things? What we're discussing right now, this conversation, SDGs, or important stuff? Because from certain standpoint, it appears that all young people care about these days is how they are perceived online and how many likes they have on TikTok or Instagram or waking up on Flick. I don't know if that's even an expression now, or it might even be considered old school. But it seems that's all that they care about. They gravitate towards. And some of the other things you mentioned, how to make money quick, how to, on graduation day, to drive a Benz and spray money. You know, do they really care about these things, about what we're discussing right now, for example?
Thank you for this question. You see, I can see probably it's deliberate that the young people are gravitated towards these areas that we are talking about. Because if you look at the policy formation for the past 30 years, can you talk about one policy that is targeted about the young people, that help the young people to transit from teenage age to adulthood? I have not seen one. So there is no deliberate effort to help them. So the deliberate effort that we have is to put them in that side so that, and a young man has a lot of energy, has a lot of skills. So when you have such power, there is no way you want to use it in one. There is either uses for virtue or for vices. So the one that is really, that you can easily take up is the vices. So it is deliberate that the policymaker leave the young people to not be able to be interested in conversations like this. Because when the voices are many, for example now, if we have many voices that are demanding for a particular policy and putting pressure on a particular, or probably, for example, a politician to do something, you're sure that that thing can be achieved. But because they don't want something like that, they try to put them aside so that they can gravitate their energy on other things that will not disturb them to do whatever they are doing. So for me, it's a deliberate effort. Yes, we can put the blame on the young people that they are not interested in, but is it their chosen? Do they really want to be interested in this discourse? For example, before now, we used to have the only place where you get information is through the traditional media. But right now, you can get information everywhere. So we are having a podcast now. You can put it online. People can access. Even on my phone, I can get that. So there are information. But the thing is that the policymakers, the leaders, as in quote, deliberately ensure that people are not interested, that the young people are not interested in conversations that even is for their own benefit. So if the leaders have put mayors a policy that help the young people to transit from teenagers to understand key things, key developmental issues, I'm sure they will be interested in it. So, and also, the question is, if somebody just finished secondary school is having a Benz, how do you ensure that somebody that is still in secondary school does not follow that step? Because the question the person will ask you, if you are preaching that to him, that what is the alternative? I have my brother that finished the university. He's not even doing anything. So it's difficult to do that. But what we need to do is to start reorientation of our people and start putting mayors, practical mayors, not just by saying not on a policy, practical mayors to ensure that young people are engaged, that the energy they have, they are using it for the betterment of themselves and the society, not for against the society.
Speaking of, efforts of young people, how can youth-led action complement or even challenge, when necessary, government efforts or even corporate entities' effort as well at achieving sustainable goals?
Thank you. The youth effort, for example, in the Niger Delta, has not been one that is one, because we have different youth groups, and majorly in the Niger Delta is more about tribe or ethnicity. This thing, even the National Youth Council is not very prominent in the Niger Delta, except the one that has to do with their tribe ethnicity. But one thing that is very important for young people to understand is that we all face one problem. And when we face one problem, because there's no way you want to tag all the problems that the young people face, both in the Niger Delta or in the country at large, that you not come to one issue. So if we all face one problem, it means that we must all come together, despite our ethnicity, the tribal affiliations, religion affiliation, to come together and solve that problem. And we have seen an example of that, which I won't do, some people disagree with. But when young people come together, you see that they form a formidable forces, a formidable voices to achieve a particular goal. So the young people need to come together. In the Niger Delta, let's come together. What is our issues? How can we come together to solve this problem? Because last week I was in a program, and a politician was speaking and talking about politics, and so when it was my turn to talk, I'm not disregarding the politician, but I know that the young people, this is not what they need. Now people are looking for people that will solve problem. If you can pick a problem and solve that problem, then you can make it. It is not about attaining university certificate. In as much as I don't discourage people from taking a university certificate, but education is not all about getting a certificate in university. I give an example. You see the analogy of how Igbos mentorship for business, and they pick after secondary school, you join a business to learn a business. From then, the person mentor you maybe for 10 years. Even the person not only mentor you on that business, it forms you character, gives you character of that business. And when that person finish, the person is being set up, and it continues like that. So you see that kind of business. So young people need to come together to understand that these issues is not all about myself. It's one challenge that we face, and we need to come together to solve those challenges.
It is Canvas the Niger Delta Roundtable, brought to you by Renaissance Africa Energy Company. We're discussing local voices achieving global goals in commemoration of this year's International Youth Day. My guest is Augustine, a developmental professional. We'll go for a break now. We return in a moment. Conversation will continue. Please stay with us.
In the heart of our journey, where the sun touches the earth and the wind whispers through the trees, a new chapter unfolds. A chapter where energy illuminates more than just bulbs. It lights up minds. A chapter of unity, a coming together with a common goal to energize futures and illuminating lives. In classrooms, young dreams evolve, inspired by the promise of a brighter tomorrow fueled by available energy. Small businesses flourish, becoming seeds of prosperity. Energy that empowers and is catalyst for growth and change. The future is energy. So, let's light up the path to a sustainable future together. Energy for you, me, and the world at large. Energy for people and planet. We are Renaissance.
Welcome back. Still Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable brought to you by Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited. I'm Dio. And we're discussing local voices, global goals, in commemoration of International Youth Day. My guest is Augustine Ogunleye, a developmental professional. Augustine, great to have you again.
Thank you.
So, you described, earlier you mentioned goals, and you said for goals, there has to be objectives and there have to be actions.
Okay.
Now, to drive these objectives and to drive these actions, you need tools, right? You need a platform. You need support systems. So what tools, platforms, support systems are available to help young persons in the Niger Delta or have helped you and your team in the Niger Delta to achieve these or to turn ideas into impact, to achieve sustainable goals?
Let me give an example of these actions. For example, PINT Foundation, which is a partner of my own organization, is as a model or an infrastructure that I will call it's a peace building infrastructure on the platform where IPDU that young people in their communities are trained as peace monitors. These people look at issues in their community and escalate it through this platform where actions are taken to resolve those issues, maybe conflict issues and the rest of that. And beyond that, we have peace actors across the Niger Deltas who carry out peace initiatives mostly on a daily basis. And we try to harvest these actions that they are taking. For example, probably in the neighborhood, there are issues, maybe a landlord that they turn out, and somebody that's being trained as a business can come in to settle that issue so that that issue does not escalate, because we have had issues or reports of violence between the tenant and this that can even lead to fatality. So these are things that we do, and these are the platforms that we provide. Apart from this, the tools to achieve SDGs are things that all corporate organizations, individuals needs to help young people within their environment to achieve. For example, zero hunger. The only way to achieve zero hunger, especially in Niger Delta, is through agriculture. And how are we using the what climate smart agriculture is providing for us? The land, like I used to tell my people, is that the land does not increase. The land size does not increase. But the population increases every day. So how are we going to use the land that we have, which we know that will not expand, to feed the people, to feed our growing population? It is to be innovative about it. It is to practice what we call climate smart agriculture, where we don't damage the soil, but we are still using it to produce more food for the people. So there are techniques to use all of this, and young people need to provide themselves to understand, to learn these things, so that we can not only feed our people, but we can also provide economic advancement for the people and for the society.
Now, you mentioned an organization like PIND. I mean, they're very much established.
Yeah.
Even your organization as well, P4P.
Yeah.
But there are others, and as you mentioned as well before, it's you doing your small thing in this space. You know, I'm doing the small thing. The other person, they're doing their small thing. But scaling is very important as well. So if I do something on my street, for example, and we record some progress with that, I need to be able to scale this to cover maybe the block, comprising maybe several streets, and then scale it, to cover elsewhere, till eventually be a local government area, or even beyond for that matter. So are young persons in the Niger Delta getting the mentorship or training or funding that they need to scale their activities to have greater impact? Are they getting enough of that? And if they're not, what's missing?
Let me first start from the last one, what is missing. Um, the first question we need to ask is that, like in the previous discussion that we had, is young people interested in this mentorship, in this kind of thing? To a very large extent, we can say that they are not interested because of, and it is not their fault. It is because of the way it was designed. And if you look at the energy that people put into cyber crimes, if you look at the energy people put into ritual killings, for example, now we have a scale or high scale of ritual killings in Delta State, in River State here, in Edo State, even across the Niger Delta. And is something that is very, very serious that we need to put attention to. So these are the challenges. And it's because these people are not guided to say that, oh, that is not the best way to do. And because people have, and a young boy of 20 years is having a Benz of more than 45 million naira, and nobody question it. He drives it in the community, and we still praise him. Even mothers will say, oh, can't you see that's the son of Mama Nkechi? See what he has been doing. What are you doing with your own life? These are the issues.
No offense to all the Mama Nkechis out there.
No, of course. I'm sorry. And now go back to your question. Now, we need to be very deliberate about this mentorship. And I've had a lot of mentorship programs and this. And I want to go back to the example I gave about the Igbo's mentorship. You see, it is deliberate. It's for a long time. It is purposeful. So you have to be there for that period of time.
It's structured.
You don't even sign to say that I'm going to spend 10 years with you. It is when your boss or the oga said that, oh, yes, now you can go into this business. And it's not only about the business, it's a character. And that is very important. So the character of the business, and not only after the person has even sent you off, he still continue to follow up. You constantly come to the organ to say, oh, these are the challenges I'm facing. He tell, oh, you can do it this way. So this kind of mentorship, that's what we need. Even this mentorship, from our former Vice President Osibanjo mentioned this as a model that we need to replicate in our small places, in our small spaces, to ensure that young people have opportunity to contribute to economic development. In terms of funding, I want to ask, is there any funding in the Niger Delta that is specifically for innovation and research? A lot of young people have ideas. They have many things they want to do. They have things in their mind that they know that if I can do this, I will be happy and I can make a name for myself. But there is no opportunity. There is no funding, deliberate funding for innovation and this thing. If every state government is having in their budget an amount of money that will be given to 10 persons in each state for innovation or for research, not to do anything, and those just say, I'm giving you this money, just go and do anything you want. Bring an idea you are, okay, do it. And I'm sure in that 10, you can get 2 that will be very successful, and you fund it, and that person can be. And if you do that for 10 years, do you know how many persons will have been able to stand on their entrepreneur or people that are making business or employing people? So it is a deliberate effort. So the funding must be there for innovations. People are innovative. Nigerians are people that have many skills, many experience, many ideas. But what is lacking is that space to exhibit this. And that is why when the young people does not find this space, they try to pick up vices and throw to another things that in the long run will not be beneficial to themselves and to the society itself. So there must be a deliberate effort to provide a mentor for the young people. And because, we used to talk about catch them young. But these days, what we do now is drop them young. We don't care. Even the mentorship is just a parade. Just do this. A mentorship is a program that is designed, continuous. It's not something we just do 1 week or because of to get cheap popularity or because of elections or this, because there are some empowerment some people just do. I remember a year I was in a program. They were supposed to give tools, agricultural tools to young people. And immediately after the program, very beautiful program. I even spoke at the program. At the venue of the program, the people were selling those tools. Why? Because they are not interested. You didn't pick the right people. You picked the wrong people for that mentorship. And you cannot mentor somebody. You can't just gather somebody in a hall, in a day, and you say you are providing mentorship and give the person it too. No, it will not work. So it has to be deliberate for you to be able to achieve whatever that objective.
How important is collaboration across generations, sectors, communities in achieving the SDGs?
Yeah, the SDG, if you look at it from Go 1 to Go 16, even there was a deliberate effort for Go 17, which is partnership to achieve the goals. So you will see it tells you how partnership and collaboration is very important. And from the Go 1 to Go 16, you will see that they are one way or the other have a nexus. For example, I'm into peace building. Well, how is peace building have a nexus with poverty? How is peace building talking about climate change? What is the connection between peace building and clean water? What is the nexus between peace building and inequality or gender-based violence? So there is collaboration across the board of each of the SDG goals. And to achieve this, you cannot just pick one SDG without looking at the other to be able, so that as you are working on this one, if you are working on to end hunger, surely you are going to end poverty, because hunger is one of the, especially in our context, hunger is one of the major issues in poverty. Because if you are able to feed yourself and your family, at least poverty is being reduced by 50%, so they say. So you see the connection between those two goals. If you are able to have sustainable environment, sustainable agricultural practice, you are able to save food for people. You are able to end hunger in one place. So the goals in themselves are connected. So if they are connected, that means the connection between policymakers in terms of, is it government, is it corporate social responsibility, they have to come together to achieve these goals. And for us, what we used to see, especially in Niger Delta or in Nigeria, is that you are doing differently. Even if what we are doing is want to achieve one goal, you are doing your, wow, that's my own, you are doing your own. But this must be a concerted effort to bring those efforts together so that we continue to hit that nail at one point to be able to achieve this. So collaboration and partnership, we cannot do without it. Yeah.
At the start of this conversation, you mentioned how that International Youth Day presents an opportunity to also shed some light, the spotlight, on youth who are doing remarkable work. Mm-hmm. So whilst we identified, or you've identified that maybe a sizable number of young persons aren't interested in these kinds of conversations, but I'd like to suppose that from your comments earlier on, we still have others who are. Yeah. Whether they're the majority or minority, it's a conversation we can also have as well. So that said, are there examples of youth-led initiatives, youth collaborating with institutions like NGOs, corporate organizations, local governments to achieve sustainable development? Do we have them, even here in the Niger Delta?
Yes, the thing is that, like we said, those voices are not the loudest voice. The one that we use is the one that's of the voice that's the loudest voice. Last week I was in a program, I saw a lady that is work is to see how indiscriminate dumping of refuse is stopped in Port Harcourt. If you look at Port Harcourt, one of the major issues in Port Harcourt is waste management. And people just use, finish a sachet of water and throw it on the floor. And
That's
before
even
you
the
know,
list of it. People bring the refuse out from their homes
from their own
and dump on medians, on highways. Yeah.
There was a time I have to challenge somebody who is bringing refuse from his house to drop on the major road. You can see that is very bad. So this lady is working on that to be sensitizing people on the need, why we need. But that voices needs to be encouraged. Needs to be encouraged with actions, with policy, because it is not for her alone. If I drop refuse here, the drainage will be blocked. Before you know, there is flooding all over the street. And when small rain fall in Port Harcourt, you see that the water has overflown the roads. So the thing is that these are voices that we have seen, and many others that we are seeing. We know people that are using this, taking plastics off the streets and using it to turn it to, or reuse it, or probably turn it to another product. So there are people that are picking up initiatives, but the problem is that this initiative in itself needs to be encouraged, because all over the world, governments, corporate organizations support new initiatives that helped in long run the SDG goals. So if government is not deliberate about picking and seeing those actions, small actions, and to be able to bring those actions up, to support it, to scale it up, it might, at the end of the day, the person might be discouraged.
Are you hopeful about the future of youth leadership in the Niger Delta and Nigeria by extension? And if you are, what gives you that hope?
Yeah, I'm very hopeful. At least I know many people who are doing great things in the Niger Delta, despite the challenges, and who want to make impact despite the odds. So I'm very hopeful. Just sitting down here, I can scan through so many people that I know that are connected to me, that are doing one or two things, who are not ready to follow the popular way that is trending, who are ready to provide the leadership in their communities, who are doing little things in their communities, in their environment, to support themselves and the community. So there is hope, and we need to also project more these people that are doing this. Like, we are given the opportunity now to talk about youth, International Youth Day, talking about youth actions is a very good one. This kind of initiative needs to be enhanced and also be replicated in other organizations. And also for us to understand that there are opportunities every time. There are opportunities to start anew for the young people. If we have people in the secondary schools transmitting to to teenage, to adulthood, it's an opportunity to start engaging the people, to engage these people, to understand that, because either we like it or no, people learn. So if people learn fast about what they see and the actions of people, what people are taking. So if we are able to be deliberate about it, to ensure that what the people are learning are things that are not vices, there are something that are virtue that can help them in the long run and help the society. Yes, there is hope. So, but we need to work on those hopes so that we don't continue to be hopeful without actions being taken.
If you had an audience, and I believe that you do, I mean, because the people I'm about to describe are listening to this and are watching this at some point. So if you had an audience of policymakers and business leaders right now, what would you ask of them? What would you say to them in terms of what they can or should be doing differently to encourage or support young persons to achieving sustainable development?
First is to ask policymakers not to see youth as beneficiaries, but as partners. Let them be partners in whatever you are doing. Don't just sit down and say, okay, we know there is a problem of cultism in social society. This is what we are going to do to solve it. No. Let's make them part of it. There is a time I was discussing with people about cultism, and said, no, cultism, for me, is something that we need to start living with and start seeing how we can bring them into the things that we are doing. If you want a dog, not to hit the meat. If you hang it on the neck of the dog, it will be dangling. It will not be able to hit it. And at the same time, it will not allow another dog to come and hit it. So the meat will be safe by the dog. So we need to have the youth not as planning for them. Let them be part of the planning. And another thing that will tell policymakers is to start talking about innovations. This energy on the street, pick up this energy and encourage this energy. People have a lot of things that they want to do. Make sure you are deliberated, that you will budget for it, funding for it. I know many organizations or corporate organizations are doing so much, but we need to do more to ensure that this energy, these skills on the street are being encouraged. Last week, I was in a program and I saw a very young, under 14 years as an FC. I was very happy seeing that kind of person carrying the crowd along. A very young age, this person is in secondary school. So it's those that kind of energies we need to support. So if that person now is being supported, is being encouraged, he has chosen a career for himself. It's not, like I said, after secondary school, somebody, you have that an educated person is being formed. So it is not all about attaining that university degree, in as much as I'm not discouraging people to do that. But what I'm saying is that after secondary school, people have what they want to do. You even see that after NYSC, people still go back to go and learn one work or one trade, or what you probably will have done after secondary school, and just go, that is the line I want to go to. Let me go to. So policy has to be doing that. Before we have these policies that after secondary school, people transit to technical education and this. And there was a time I was serving, and I entered a technical school, and I saw the large instrument these people are being covered with this not being used because nobody to operate it. So government needs to look at this in technical skills for the people and show them and support them, not only training. You need to support them to start on their own, because to make that bold step is not very easy. But if the support is there, from government, from policymakers, from corporate organizations, from NGOs, from different sectors, people can be able to stand on their own and contribute to the society. And also that will be help in making the society peaceful. Because if I'm a leader and the society is not peaceful, how do I govern? But the way to ensure that there is safety, there is peace, is to ensure that the young people are engaged. And there is this tripod that we call peace, justice, and development. Those three tripods does work together. You cannot pick one and think the other two will work. No, they all work together. So as you are looking for development of the people, you must be also talking about peace, and peace initiative for the people. You are also talking about justice. So these three transport, the government needs to be deliberate about it, and the young people must be part of all this discussion and the implementation.
Speaking of discussions, I've had a very good time having this discussion with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
That's a wrap for this edition of Canvas and Niger Delta Roundtable. In commemoration of International Youth Day, we've discussed local voices, global goals, thanks to my guest, Augustine Ogunlaya, a professional in the development space with over 8 years' experience. Augustine, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you are doing, and thank you for Canvas.
And thank you for joining us as well. I'm Adid Daya Lushak, and this podcast is brought to you by Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited. Keep contributing your quota to nation building and national development. Bye.